Warning, the show contains adult language, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. This is episode 220. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff. If I didn't say that, I think I messed up my intro. I'm changing it around a little bit here. I want to talk about recession survival for the rest of us. What does that mean? That means that right now we have a K-shaped recovery is what they're saying in the economy. So you can imagine the letter K. The COVID came and everything kind of dropped down. Now it started to rise a little bit, and what's happening is the bottom portion is the rest of us. You know, that's middle class and lower class and weirdo class and fucked up class, you know. Us drop-offs. We're dropping off. We're the lower part of the K. It's starting to go down really fast. But we also have a recovery of people making tons of money and capitalizing on this whole thing. So there's people with money who are able to invest and to actually flip this whole thing around. I'm not talking about them today. I want to talk about us, the other portion of the people, the shit. What are we, probably like the 80%, you know, we're the large numbers. What do we do, man? I know I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I figure you guys are as well. So that's what today's show is going to be about. We are recording in my mobile studio, my F360 7.3 liter 96 truck. But today we're parked and we're at my farm. And those of you guys watching, you guys can see in the back, there's all my biodegradable container gardening systems. You guys can check it out, biodegradablecontainergardening.com, or on YouTube, biodegradable container gardening. But yeah, I'm not talking about gardening today. Let's get into the show here. And I just got off the phone with my CPA, and that's kind of what got the juices flowing for today. And this is the May of 2021. And I think the first thing, like me and him were talking about is, well, first of all, get yourself a CPA. If you're in a business, if you own your own business, you're an entrepreneur, have conversations, man. That's what these people do. My CPA is a freak, man. He just loves like money, like how money's flowing, how they're printing, and what the Federal Reserve is doing, and all. And I'm like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Talk to me like I'm a dummy. You know, can't do that to an ape like me. But yeah, one of the things that we concluded was that we have inflation and things rising, and the both of us just said, I don't see how there's not going to be a recession. I follow a lot of people who are tycoons, these big real estate investors, and what I find in this information is that a lot depends on what the economy is doing, what areas are going to crash, which areas are going to boom. We have migratory things happen right now where people are migrating out of big cities and out into the country, and it's driving up prices here and there, and that drives up inflation. And they explain it in a way where a lot of it I don't understand, but I try to pick out what I can. And what I've understood from my CPA and watching some of these videos is that once inflation goes up, it doesn't really go down. I think we have a difference with like some certain supplies like lumber right now is through the fucking ceiling. It can't stay that high. It's like 9 times as high as it was, you know. Well, I wouldn't say 9 times. I'd say like 6 times higher than what it was last year. It can't maintain at that. That's just scarcity and stuff like that. So some things will come down, but the inflation rate has to go up because they're printing money. And when they print money and they're giving all the stimulus and everything, it puts us into debt. And when they print money, it devalues the dollar. And I know we got a lot of listeners around the world. I don't know what's happening in your country, but over here in the United States, the American dollar is not worth as much because there's more of it in circulation, to make it simple. So that means inflation has to go up. That means you guys are already noticing that if you go to buy a loaf of bread, your groceries, what was $100 is you're spending about $140 now. So it's gone up by quite a bit. Just to give you guys a perspective, because my CPA liked talking to me a lot about these things in the construction industry because I'm very knowledgeable about it. And what we have coming up here in the next 30 days is a 10% hike in roofing materials. And there's a 10% hike in all kinds of different things. It just keeps hiking up and up and up. And it's not going to go down. Kind of reminds me of when they said that we had a drought here in California. And we had so much rain, I think it was 2 years ago, that the dams were ready to burst, right? Excuse me. And they said, and so they charged the water bill. The water bill went up. It got inflated. As soon as the dams were full and we were at full capacity, water bill still stayed up. Whatever they can do to raise prices on things, that's what they're going to do, and they are not going to lower them. They work very hard to get them there, and they're going to keep charging. But they gave you a raise. That's what's awesome, right? Say you made $15 an hour. Now you're making $18. We need to help people out. And when you look at this, you're making $2 more an hour But that's only like, maybe let's just put even numbers, right? That's like 10%. We just upped your pay 10% this year of 2021 to help you out. But meanwhile, the inflation went up and everything you're going to buy is raised at 10%. So you're literally, to put it simple, you've just flat planed again. That's it. If they didn't do that, you'd actually be even poorer. And I think some people are experiencing that. They're not getting that raise, so they're actually having to work even harder, and the value of their money has been decreased continuously. And if you save money, that's what they say, cash is trash. Savers are losers. All the shit that school didn't teach you and college didn't teach you, maybe for most of you, unless you're in accounting or something like that. But what you say you had $100,000 in the bank right now. You don't have $100,000 in the bank. You have probably $90,000 in the bank because of the price of inflation. Maybe you had $100,000 back then. When you made the money, you were able to spend something, buy, say, a car for $100,000. Now you're going to go buy that same exact truck, but you're going to have to come up with another $10,000. We're not going to give it to you now. You see where it goes? This is the trickiness of everything. So what do we do? I think this is the time to suck back and pull back, because we get stuck in the micro. Micro meaning we just focus, everything funnels, and this is where the eye of the tornado is, and this is the thing that's causing damage, and we get sucked into this vortex. What we need to do is pull ourselves away from this emotionally, spiritually, mindfully, intellectually, away from this vortex and get a bird's eye view. There's nothing that we can really do. And when I mean pull back, suck back too, this is not the time. Again, I'm talking about it as middle class to poor people. This is not the time to invest in things. We hear a lot of people saying, go buy houses and invest. Yeah, when you have a backup, when you do this, when you have proper cash flow and you have emergency funds and you financially can deal with inflation and things like that, and you've got more money that you need to park someplace, then yeah, but a lot of us don't. So this is not the time to go spending your money on useless things. I mean, at all. I would say if anybody would listen to me, please consider that we will have a recession, and it could be very, very, very fucking bad. But we're not here to scare. Even if a very bad recession didn't happen and you sucked back and you stopped spending your money on buying useless things, you would have money saved up in your account. It wouldn't be a lot, but you'd at least start to serve more of your emergency funds for, I don't know, a good time. Maybe things won't crash, but all of a sudden you got $5,000, $10,000, $30,000, whatever it is in the bank that you can go, you know what? I can invest this. What Adrian said was going to happen didn't happen. So either way, you're protecting yourself. You're investing in yourself. And I know we said cash is trash, savers are losers, but that's for when you're saving lots of money. The way I look at it is that I have emergency funds. I have one account with about $30,000 in it. And one of those things, what I do is that it's no longer worth, as I said, we've got to keep feeding a 10% in there to make sure that it rises so that I can have that on that account, that money to deal with inflation when I need to use it for my emergency funds. We need to keep those things because you never know what life can throw at you. Beyond that, if I have I've got other accounts and other savings and things like that. But what I do is I take a savings and I put it over here and I pretend like this money just doesn't even exist. This is my investing money. If I've got enough of it, then I'm going to go in and buy a house, or, that's the idea that I have, is if the economy takes a big dip, that maybe I've been building my credit score, I've been saving money, pocketing, I've got emergency funds, I'm devising an entire plan. I suck back from the whole picture. I reinvented myself, and I think that's what you guys need to do as well. You need to rethink the way you're doing money and everything. So getting back to, what I've looked at right now is, I think a lot of us entrepreneurs who aren't rich people like me, I'm only a thousandaire, I'm not a millionaire. I look and I'm actually considering not investing into property and stuff like that. I don't own any properties, by the way. But what I do look at is I need some cash flow. So when I pulled back and go in the macro and watch all these things happening, the price of goods, of material goods is going up, skyrocketing. So how do I combat that? Well, there's something needed like solar panel cleaning. I'm a licensed roofing contractor, so I look at that, and the only thing I need to buy is water, and I really don't even need to buy water. All I need to do is buy filtration systems. It costs me maybe $40 a month, and I'd be able to wash thousands of solar panels, right, for $40. This is something that doesn't really take a lot of money and investment. It's something that's needed, but that's a very, very low overhead. So those are the things that I look at to invest in something that's going to create cash flow. I may invest about $15,000 to $20,000 into this new business, but it's going to immediately start creating cash flow. And if that cash flow can get very high with all the businesses that I have going on, now I'm able to go and invest. And even if I had the money, though, I look right now, this is not the time to do anything. It's a time to just relax because everything's overpriced. Especially where I live in Sunnyside, San Diego, North County of California. So yeah, it's definitely, I think that everybody should just relax right now, get by, figure out how you can lower your overhead as low as possible, reinvent the way you've been living, reinvent yourself. And we need to learn to flow with change is my next thing here. We need to learn how to everything in life is always going to change. It always does. There's one thing that you know is consistent in life is that nothing is consistent. And those who try to hold on to consistency are going to live some horrible lives. Those who know that, hey, one day I'm going to have to change. I'm going to need to move things around and learn to flow with it. Become water, as Bruce Lee says. Water, you pour it in a glass, it forms into a glass. You pour it down, it'll go off into many directions and then regather itself. Become resilient. Speaking of which, if the bad language is hurting you guys, we're having a show coming very soon. It's called the Resilient Living Podcast. Very family orientated, no hardly any, if no swear words. So yeah, learn to flow with change. There's no control, and that's okay. I think that's what we need to do is let go. There's a lot of stuff beyond what this recession could hit or what's happening in the world right now. We can get hit by an asteroid. You want to really freak out? We could have an ice age. We can have global warming, as they're saying, and so many things can happen. But we need to figure out what we can do to survive and just flow with it, as I said. Flow with the times. And we've had harder times before. I have here on my notes. And there was things where people in the Great Depression, just go do yourself a favor and look. I'll tell you guys a cool story I heard is that these people made these large rat traps with a big hole in it, and they would hang them on trees. And what they did is they'd put like peanut butter and nuts and stuff like that, and they actually trapped squirrels. And they just put them on the trees everywhere in the forest, and put a nail in it. I don't believe in putting a nail in a tree, but I'd maybe tie a rope or something so the squirrel would come down to eat it, and just like a mousetrap, whap, and they'd go every morning and check it out, and they got dinner. That's how bad it got. My people, the Russian people, were growing pigeons out of their windows, right? They had like this big old cage thing, and they would get wild pigeons. And for those of you who don't know, if you get a baby and it's born in a cage, like in an area, it'll come back to that nest, like under a bridge or a building. You can take it across the United States, and there's a good chance it's going to come right back. So finding out, not saying to eat pigeon and squirrels, just finding out things that you can do in those parameters to get creative. I want to, we're already eating up this time. I want to end with this quote I heard, and it says, hard times create hard people. Hard people create good times. Good times create soft people. Soft people create hard times. And I think that's where we're in right now. We're in the soft people that are creating hard times. People fucking nagging and putting their shitty ass opinions out there and really causing disruption in everything all across the board with sexuality, money, racism, all this. It's just fucking one big just yarn ball of shit. And I'm not saying that a lot of it's not all needed, but we're not going to get anywhere. Everybody fighting and all. It takes hard people to actually do hard stuff. Very interesting one I heard from a guy named Danny Pena. He says, you fucking cunts. You want to save this guy's hilarious. He says, you want to save the rainforest, you want to make a difference, go make fucking money. That's exactly how he says. He's yelling at people. I don't know why, I think it's funny. But he says, if love got the job done, then why is the world in the condition that it's in? I know there's some argumentative stuff right there, but I was just thinking about that. If we could take and say, yes, we do need love and we do need compassion for each other and everything. But in our system's design, the way I look at it is he's like 100% right. We need money. We would need to grow seedlings and water them and stuff like that. And unfortunately, the systems that we live in today evolves all around money. It would take some land somewhere to grow these seedlings to send to the Borneo jungle or the rainforest, and money to actually keep the economy and stuff going there for those people so they have some way to feed themselves, right? Teach them how to farm. Even if we wanted to do away with money, we would still need to come up with some sort of curriculum to maybe teach these people and say, hey, we don't need to chop down the rainforest. We can grow our own food, produce our own energy. We got everything. Listen to this crazy guy on Up and In It, this low-life scumbag roofer guy, this redneck. And he's got all kinds of stuff on the permaculture. If we were just able to convince people, and we would say, well, we don't need to do this anymore. And why am I screwing up my home, my livelihood? We could just stop. That would still take money. So things to take in consideration. These are all just my opinions and ideas that I throw out. I'm not saying one way or the other. One's insignificant. I'm just saying an equilibrium of everything, bringing it all together and making something really happen is the goal I do in my own personal life. And what I know I have control of is me. And that's why I live the alternative lifestyle design as I've coined it. I'm doing just fine. Everything's going just good. If I could just calm myself the fuck down and stop getting anxiety and looking at my plan, look at my emergency funds and things I put in place for my life and my own food, which I'm going to eat for lunch like an animal with my mouth. I'm just going to reach over and just bite some fucking arugula right out of a planter, which tastes fantastic. My life is actually pretty good, guys. And that's what I want for everybody. I'm controlling what I have going on here, and yeah, it feels immense. So I hope I brought you guys some value. If I did, please like and subscribe and do all that stuff. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, middle finger. I really don't give a shit about if you don't like it. Just tell me and I'll work on making it better for you. But I've got update upandinit.com. I've got a website for you guys to go to. We just opened it up, so feel free to go over there and subscribe and help me keep the show going, guys. We're going to, I've been saying it over and over again, but yeah, help me get some traction with this thing. So if you guys like this sort of thing, it's Up and In It. You can check it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere where there's podcasts. As I always say, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it, my friends.